Hello, and welcome to Anime Audio Commentary. Today I'll be commenting on episode 2 of My Senpai is Annoying. If you'd like to watch along, then start watching now. So we ended that last episode on a pretty decent cliffhanger, and it feels like Igarashi hasn't really recovered from it. I mean, that sort of quasi-confession was apocalyptic. Now, I do think it's interesting that she's saying she didn't mean it, because I sort of interpreted this as a sort of drunken admission on her part that, not that she loved him, but rather that the fact that he doesn't even see her as a potential option is disheartening, and there's sort of inherent insecurity in that. And I was also sort of thinking to myself, if this gets around the water cooler, that's gonna be a billion times worse than just falling asleep on the train. But on the other hand, only Takeda was there, and I don't feel like he'd be the type to blab, or to gossip, or just do something like that. He might say, like, Igarashi got a little drunk, you feeling alright, you hungover, but, he wouldn't talk behind her back, I don't think. Oh dear, it seems like he doesn't really need to blab because Igarashi is going to tell on herself, She's sort of pretending a little too hard that everything is just A-okay. And I guess, if she let sleeping dogs lie, everything would be fine. So I'm wondering what precisely Igarashi is going to do. She mentioned something about lunch, although it seems like she's getting gypped out of that chance now too. But more to the point, I'm wondering what her plan is. Is she going to try to explain things? Because I feel like it's only going to make things worse. But, good on the boss, though. He has, I guess, the awareness to sort of graciously bow out and not interfere. Oh, here we have it, Takeda's just like, oh, you're still upset about that? That's kind of funny. And, it might be from his perspective, but I'd imagine if I had done a similar thing to a coworker, I would be considering dropping the toaster in the bathtub. But on the other hand, he's making it pretty clear that he figured it was just the booze talking, so, don't worry about it too much. I really do feel like Takeda has been saddled with an undeserved reputation as being the annoying senpai in the title. Like, the poor guy's nothing but understanding, really. Now I wonder where this is going, because it seems like we're focusing on Kazuma and some of the other co-workers. You know, they seem to be in the unfortunate position of just oogling women on the street as they walk by while they have lunch. That's a really low position to be in. And I guess worse yet, they're sort of talking about co-workers too. I mean, I guess fortunately nothing has come of it so far, but in my personal opinion, you really shouldn't be looking for romance at the office. So that's a good way to cause trouble. I mean, I guess this might be sort of like a cultural difference or maybe just neuroses on my part, you know. Because I feel like the risk of having an acrimonious breakup would be far more devastating to one or both of our careers. But, you know, it's interesting that these guys seem to think so little of it. Alright, so the plot's thickening a little bit, you know. Igarashi doesn't quite remember all of her co-workers' names, and they're sort of implying that Igarashi and Takeda have a closeness between them. I mean, I'm sure what he meant was, you know, you guys work together, but, you know, that's not how she heard it. And I guess Kazuma, there's something about him, you know. He seems very put upon but reliable. You know, he's sort of gotten everyone out of the jam they were in. Unfortunately, the damage was kind of done in that one of the coworkers implied that Igarashi kinda looks like she could be Takeda's daughter. Not that there's any resemblance, but just the disparity in stature. And you know, that is kind of an embarrassing thing, especially, you know, if like a client were to say something like that. But already, Igarashi's already sort of touching on the idea that, does Takeda see me as an actual woman? And, you know, it's indecisive at this point. Oh dear. So here we go, you know, her short stature isn't the only thing Igarashi is unsatisfied with, but rather, her lack of voluptuousness is also a point of stress for her. So, you know, I wonder how much they're going to get into, like, old wives' tales about remedying that particular problem. So, you know, there's sort of a few, like, you know, drinking lots of milk, getting massages, stuff like that. I wonder if it's going to be that kind of an episode where Igarashi tries all sorts of harebrained things to try and get some kind of a result. Wow. Wow, they are really playing it up. You know, that was no accident. Although that's a nifty little screensaver about our solar system. Although, wow, you know, I'm not sure what to say about that. That just kind of caught me off guard. Alright, so Igarashi has just said, I'm not going to get lost, so, I get the feeling that that's precisely what she's going to do, you know? She seems so determined to prove that she is an adult that she's willing to take, I guess, unnecessary risks. And it would seem as though this girl here, Natsumi, is, one of those girls from the flashback. Yeah, Natsumi already strikes me as a bit of an interesting character, you know. Wants to go shopping with her friend, go to an arcade and all of that. And, you know, sure, she's considerably more well-endowed, but, you know, it's not like she's lording it over her friend. Man, you know, she seems to be a woman of many talents, at least in terms of video games. Oh dear. So, if I had to make a guess based on the previous episode, you know, stuffed animals and stuff like that are right up Igarashi's alley. You know, she can't resist. And that certainly doesn't help her appear as an adult, I would imagine. Oh dear, she said she was gonna take 2. I think I know where this is going, and, I don't like it. You know, she's got this look on her face like she's got some sort of a cunning plan here, but I can only imagine this is going to cause more problems. Like, if she rocks up to work like that, you know, an obvious and sudden change like this is only going to draw unwanted attention. And I feel like if she has a business wardrobe like this, you know, it's got to be tailored to some degree, and therefore, you know, it doesn't have the extra room, as it were. Yeah, this is what happens when you play with fire. Natsumi takes pictures of you in compromising positions. Oh dear. You know, at least Natsumi doesn't work in the office with her, otherwise they would be circulating around the water cooler. I mean, I guess Igarashi had the presence of mind to not just, like, walk around out in public like that. Oh dear, I think I know what Natsumi's getting at, you know, like, oh yeah, you just think about work all the time, you only care about your job and not relationships? Yeah, okay, Igarashi, whatever you say. You know, the hints are already starting to crop up a little bit that maybe there could be a little romance developing. Oh no. Oh no, Igarashi, what are you doing? Like, she knows she shouldn't be doing this, but she's still doing it anyways. I can only imagine that, she's going to run into people she knows. Yeah. Yep, here we go. Wow, watch out for curves indeed. What a prophetic sign. You know, surely nothing bad is going to come of this. Oh boy, she's trying to pretend it's not her, but oh, there's no getting around this. Oh dear, Takeda might be oblivious to this, but Kazuma knows. He smells a rat. There's something wrong here, and he has zeroed in on what precisely the two big problems are. I can only hope he has the good grace to sort of, like, shut up and take this secret to the grave for everybody's sake. Oh, Kazuma, he's broaching the issue, but at least he's being somewhat tactful about it. I guess, you know, if he's lucky, Takeda's not gonna stumble upon anything, and Kazuma's not gonna give it away. But it's surprisingly sad that Igarashi's like, well, he doesn't view me as a woman at all, that's it then. Okay, so this guy's her grandfather. Wow, this guy's jacked. 'Cause, he's gotta be, pretty old to be a grandfather. Oh, dear. Yeah, maybe this topic of conversation is not one you want to bring up to your grandfather. I mean, what we've already seen about the grandfather, he's kind of protective. I mean, on the one hand, he does want to give good advice, but on the other hand, oh my gosh, they're not being subtle at all, let's just have this long-lasting shot on a washboard. Oh dear. Man, I feel like this is ripe for misunderstandings, Her phone died. Naturally, her grandfather will assume she hung up on him. Probably because he wasn't immediately giving the advice she wanted to hear. Alright, so that guy, he's actually, going through with it and asking Sakurai out. And, she has other plans. I guess it's kind of to be expected, given that, she's sort of like the most beautiful girl in the office. But I can only imagine that this is going to complicate things further once we find out the exact nature of her plans. My money's on she's into something super nerdy, like she's going to Comic-Con or something. And that's why she can't go on a date. Alright. I'm wondering what's going on here. Why is Kazuma playing all coy? Or maybe he was angling to ask her out or something and just sort of lost his nerve. I mean, that's definitely eccentric behavior for sure. Surely he wasn't going to give an anonymous tip about Igarashi and what she was up to. Oh, the suffering never ends. She's not tall enough to hold onto the... I don't know what you'd call it, the handle? Man, to be asked if you want to be lifted up, Ooh. What did Takeda notice that none of us did? I can only imagine this guy was up to something nefarious. Alright, there we go, Takeda. Not only is he built like a mountain, he is proficient in judo as well. And he caught a guy who's clearly up to no good with a camera. Alright, so you know what? Takeda might not see Igarashi as a woman, but he definitely sees her as someone who ought to be protected. And, that's not bad, all things concerned. Yeah, that is interesting that Igarashi is even kind of worried that, maybe an experienced judo practitioner shouldn't start throwing around a novice, but, I guess when he puts it like he did, that he'd rather lose his belt than let something like that go, That's pretty darn honorable. Man, I feel like they're laying it on kinda thick here. Sure, he doesn't see me as a woman, but yeah, he does care about me. With the second unspoken part being, boy, I certainly do care about him a lot. Oh, this is interesting. Sakura is actually pursuing Kazuma. And, it seems like going out to dinner isn't exactly something he's averse to, even if he doesn't necessarily pick up her meaning right away. Yeah, I think I definitely did make the right choice to watch this. This is very sweet and heartwarming, and there's a fair bit of comedy, too. But, little moments like that, I like that kind of stuff. Yeah, I guess some things never change. Minor insults have to be met with violence, but what are you gonna do? Alright, well that's it for this episode. If you've enjoyed it, then by all means, tune in for the next one. See you, Space Cowboy.